Hey guys, welcome back. So this is the first raid video on my channel for 2022. And I think Platinum said something like 2022 is going to be the year of PvP. There are going to be many more PvP focused content coming out very soon. And I think it's time to shift my focus back to PvP because this channel, the raid videos I made should be PvP focused, right? So yeah, here I am. I'm going to make a video showing you guys my tier list for arena damage dealers. Alright, so let me show you guys the tier list right away, and then I'll go through these champions quickly with you guys. And just a very quick disclaimer before showing you guys the list. This tier list is going to be ranked, and it is going to be subjective and biased. Of course, it is going to be biased. This is just what I think is the best champion for best damage dealing champion for Platinum Arena as a top 20 Platinum Arena player. So if you're in Gold 4 or below, things might be different, okay? I think this list is mainly for players that are at least above Gold 4. So yeah, let's get into it. This list is not just about AoE damage dealing champion. I put a lot of single target damage dealing champions as well because they are really good in arena in a lot of situations. It's not based on how hard they hit. Like, I have to think about a lot of other things such as affinity, their attack base or defense base, their survivability, a lot of things like that. It's not just about how much damage they can do with a single skill. It's not like that. It's just an overview showing you guys like which champion is good in the current meta. So not every champion is on the list, of course. Like, these are just, I think it's like 25 champions here. Well, technically, if the champion you're looking for is not on the list, it means they're not as good as the champions that are on the first 4 rows. Okay, the last row I put is like situational champions. They're not really ranked. It just means they're usable with specific team setup and condition. Alright, so like I said, this list is ranked, which means the champions that are on the top left corner is the best arena damage dealing champion in the game. That is Rhodos, the Lost Groom. And on their whole legendary champion, still undisputed. He has been the best arena damage dealing champion for a very long time. It's pretty much probably since he came out, right? He's been on the throne for like over a year. And I think he received a very big nerf end of last year. I think before that, this skill is block revive instantly and ignore 75% of defense. He was like invincible in arena. And even if he received a very big nerf, the biggest nerf in raid history, he is still amazing. I know he is like, all his skills are single target, but like things are just very consistent. If you have a strong enough Rhodos, you can pretty much kill anyone you want with a one shot. So, and he can get a extra turn and stuff like that, and instantly remove all debuffs if he goes with a Sifi. If you guys never been to Platinum Arena, usually your defense log is gonna be full of Sifi and Rhodos. You really don't see a lot of AoE damage dealing champion. Look at this. There is not a single Tronda here. Everybody is just running Rhodos, right? Stuff like that. That's why Rhodos, still undisputed, the best arena damage dealing champion in the game, without a question. Alright, second, I put Leoris. A lot of people might disagree. Again, this list is gonna be subjective because I just used Leoris a lot. Like, Leoris is my main AoE damage dealing champion because with this champion, you don't have to worry about force affinity at all. Even though Tronda is the hardest hitting AoE damage dealing champion in the game, I still put Leoris ahead of Tronda because of overall utility and survivability. He is immune to any crowd control. If this skill is not on cooldown, which means you don't have to worry about Sifi sleep, you don't have to worry about torment. There's no reason to put immunity set on him, and his passive is gonna be unkillable, which pretty much a sweep parry set on him, and his damage increased by 1% for every 1% HP loss, right? And I think if his HP is below 40%, he starts to deal more damage than Tronda. That's just a calculation, I think. And additionally, is that his A2 and A3 actually they're both AoE hits, right? And they actually deal similar amount of damage. So if you want to use Leoris as your main nuker, you don't really need to have him go with a Kymar. You don't have to reset his skill because these two skills deal similar amount of damage. That's another very big advantage. Alright, the third is gonna be Tronda, of course, everybody's favorite, the hardest hitting AoE damage dealing champion in the game without a question. She just hits so hard, but I think after the reaction accessory, it just kind of an indirect nerf to Tronda because the most broken thing about Tronda is actually the A2. But after the reaction accessories were released, you can't really open with your A2. You have to start A3 now. So that's just kind of an indirect nerf to Tronda, but she is still the hardest hitting champion in the game. The only reason I'm not putting her ahead of Leoris is because she is magic affinity, and there are too many Kendrafon in top arena right now. If you weak hit a Kendrafon, it doesn't matter if you have +4 Tronda. If you weak hit a Kendrafon, you're dead. That's really an issue. Alright, about number 4, still the overpowered list is gonna be Kendrafon. Speaking of Kendrafon, right? I think a year ago he was the worst champion in the game, like one of the worst champion in the game, and he just received the biggest buff in raid history and become a god tier arena nuker. This dude is so hard to kill, which means he is really good in arena defense, very annoying. I believe most of you guys have been one-shot by this dude before. It happened to me many times when I was using Tronda. My Tronda weak hit this dude and my team got one-shot. And it just feels really bad. And like about Kendrafon, like the only weakness of this champion is probably Force Affinity as well, because Force Affinity, Red Affinity is really bad for offense because of Duchess. Duchess is the amazing arena defense champion, and if you use Kendrafon against Duchess, it's just not gonna work. That's why like I pretty much don't see anyone use Kendrafon in arena offense. So like he is probably like a 10 out of 10 for arena defense, but 7 out of 10 on offense. That's why he is number 4. So next is Hejimon, still the overpowered category. Like I was kind of struggling if I should put Hejimon on the list because he is not really a nuker, but if you want to build him as a nuker, you can still do that, right? Building a nuke Heji, like I remember like I used to post some funny screenshot where I finish a squishy team in 1 second, right? Using a nuke Heji. But right now nuke Heji is really not the meta because it gets countered so hard with CV and Rhodos. And but like if you're in Go 4, you can definitely build a nuking Heji. I think it's gonna make your arena farming much more quicker and consistent. Alright, let's move on to the next category, which is S+. Alright, for the S+ category, the champions that are on this category is still very top tier. Like still the best champions in the game. And the first one on the S+ category is gonna be a defensive based nuker. Soulless. Tronda is obviously the most popular choice. I think he is the second most popular choice right now in top arena. He deals a lot of damage, like not insanely damage, not even close to Tronda. And the problem of a defensive based nuker is that I think you really need a good defensive champion, right? And I think for top arena, you can only pair him with a CV. There's no other choice. So if you don't really have a CV, Soulless is kind of not usable in top arena. That's why he is only on S+ category. If there are some defensive champion which everybody can get and it's very good in arena, Soulless is definitely gonna be higher. Like the problem of Soulless is really about team setup. It's a little bit difficult to set up if you don't have a CV. Alright, next is Foley, a very old school champion. He is actually a fusion and he is available in the dupe shop. I think he is still top tier, especially if you can empower him, because empower Foley is relatively easier compared to other champion. He is a fusion and he is available in the shop. If you play long enough, you should have 2 of him already, right? And fully is a great counter to Kymar because if the enemy sleeps him, he gets a 50% Terminator boost. So he has a really good counter to Kymar, and he has a good counter to like those type of A1 Hegi as well, because a lot of A1 Hegis, they put a crowd control set. So if you just go with a going to the fight against A1 Hegi with your Savage Foley, he has a chance to get 50% Terminator boost as well. And the A3 block revive instantly. The problem of this champion is not very good damage multiplier. Alright, next is gonna be Fusion champion Herdig, a Dwarf legendary. I think the fusion was like 5 or 6 months ago, and he was actually a really good fusion. He has great multiplier, and the A3 here, this is probably one of the hardest hitting ability, single target ability in the game, because this is attack one enemy first, then attack all enemy, right? So the target you use this skill against is pretty much dead. And more of that, he also has a really good A1. If you kill someone with the A1, it just resets the cooldown of A3, right? So it just kind of rotates, and that's why he has a really good counter to Warlord. Even if Warlord puts his skill to cooldown, if you're able to kill someone with the A1, it just resets his cooldown. So it's really good counter to Warlord, and he's a fusion champion. If you play for like half year until now, you should be able to get him. And next is gonna be Ray, a very old school champion. I only have one Ray on my account, and I think the Ray was from a champion chase tournament very long time ago. If you get number 1 on that tournament, you get a Ray, and that's how I got her. She is really good. All her skill are AoE and has a buff strip and chance to freeze. The mainly it's about A2, so inflict 50% more damage against targets under debuffs, right? If you use this skill under someone under debuffs, it hits harder than Tronda's A3, but it's just a little bit of condition. So, but it's actually easy to achieve. You just put some debuff on the enemy and it will hit really hard. Alright, next is gonna be a controversial one, Mortal Macav. Right, a lot of people might not know about him. He is not really a traditional nuker, because if you want to use him in arena, you're pretty much hoping for the secret skill to proc. And in the current meta, it's actually not that difficult to have the secret skill proc. He also has a very good speed aura. I saw some team in arena offense which you can use 2 Mortal Macav together, just hoping for the Pearl to proc. And he is an HP based champion, so he should be very tanky. And you just stack very high crit damage. And it ignores all defense, so you don't really have to worry about the ignore defense stuff. So, and the enemy killed by this skill cannot be revived, so I put him in S+ tier. But like, the downside of this strategy is the fight usually takes a little bit longer. Like, I think the fastest you can do with Mortal Macav strategy is like 1 minute fight. Like, I've seen people using Mortal Macav to do like 8 minutes arena wins, so it's kind of interesting choice. And next it's gonna be Mountain King, another very popular old school champion. Mountain King is still really good in the current meta, especially if you can empower him. The empowerment just gives him a lot of stats boost because he has the highest base HP in the game. Like, also like the attack and defense, they're all very good. So the champion empowerment just makes Mountain King an absolute beast. Alright, next let's move on to S- tier. The champions here are still good champion, it's just not as good as the champions I've talking about. Alright, the first is gonna be Yannica. Yannica deals a lot of damage, of course, and I know a lot of people use her as a Kendra from counter, and she is definitely a great champion, but I actually don't see people use her a lot for some reason. Yeah, I know, like, she is extremely squishy. Like, this base HP is really low, and the base attack is not impressive as well. And maybe that's the reason people don't use her, but she is definitely a good champion. She has great multiplier. Alright, next we have Abyss. Again, a champion that nobody uses, but she definitely is good after the buff. She received a very big buff couple months ago, so yeah, she is great, usable, but I haven't tried her out yet, to be honest. Alright, next gonna be Sado. I don't have this champion, but I know some people use this champion. Deals crazy damage, right? The A3, right? Attack one enemy, then attack all enemy. this skill has very good multiplier. Unfortunately, I couldn't really test him out. But this champion is great. Next is gonna be Ignatius. Another defensive based nuker. I think this is the second best defensive based nuker in the game. The first being Soulless. Even though like this champion has the best damage multiplier as a defensive champion, but his base defense is really low. 1266. I think this is probably the lowest base defense as a defensive based legendary, right? Yeah, that's why like if you put same gear on Soulless and Ignatius, Soulless still hits a little bit harder because of the base stats. So that's why like this champion is here. Definitely usable still. Alright, next is gonna be Ethos. One of the coolest champion in the game. But right now in the meta, this dude just doesn't have enough multiplier. That's the only problem. He doesn't have enough multiplier. Maybe you can try something like building Ethos with no crit, but stack super high crit damage, because his A3 is always gonna be critical. It might work, but it's just not a very popular choice right now. And plus, this dude is super squishy. Look at this base defense, 716. This is the base defense of a rare, to be honest. And yeah, that's why Ethos is only on the S- category. Alright, then we're gonna move on to the A category. So the first champion here is gonna be it's gonna be a very sad story, because if I make this video before dupe system come out, this champion here, Magnar, he's gonna be on S+ tier, definitely. He was pretty much kind of like a people's champion. Everybody can get him. He deals similar damage with compared to Tronda, if Tronda doesn't have attack up, obviously. And then the dupe system came out. People can start to empower their legendaries and do the faction guardians, because the faction guardian bonus, the legendary bonus, is a lot better than the epic bonus. So right now, just nobody use this champion anymore in top arena. And before dupe system came out, 16 at Boomer actually used this dude as his main nuker. Think about that, right? Like, he is a top 3 arena player in the game, and he used this dude as his main nuker before the dupe system. That's how good this champion was. Okay, but now the good time has passed. Alright, that's why he's only A tier right now. Our next couple champions, I'm not really gonna spend a lot of time talking about. Robar, Biggin, and Fushan. They're usable. About Robar, like, the only thing about Robar is he needs setup. He needs someone, the enemy under kind of debuff, some kind of debuff to do crazy damage, so he requires a little bit of setup, but he is definitely usable. And about Biggin and Fushan, they deal similar amount of damage. Not the most popular choice, but if they're the only nuker you got, they're definitely gonna help you a lot. Alright, then the last role is gonna be situational and has potential. Again, the last role here, situational champions, they are not ranked. Okay, if you have special team setup, specific team setup for these champions, they will really start to shine. So the first 3 champions, Kotraksa, Turvold, and Royal Huntsman, they are pretty much the single target, crazy single target damage dealing champion. You can use these champions when you're facing against a team that only has 1 reviver, right? So you can just focus on that reviver, take them out, and win the fight slowly. And then it's gonna be Inithuli. He doesn't have great multiplier. That's why, like, I don't really see him as an AoE damage dealing champion, because the multiplier is really not there. And I think on my Discord server, there was someone has a +4 Inithuli with 9,500 attack, and still doesn't do enough damage compared to a baseline Tronda. But the one way you can use him is the A2. This A2 is really good, because attack enemy 3 times, damage increase equal to the percentage of HP loss, right? So I used to use Inithuli against Rhodos team. You can just take out the Rhodos. It cannot be the Rhodos will just cannot be revived, right? You can target with a champion that is annoying, you take them out and win things slowly, or win the fight slowly. And then it's gonna be 2 single target damage dealing champion, Inquisitor Shamal and Soulless. Faceless. So Inquisitor Shamal is Sacred Order here, one of the most popular champion in the game right now, and the player even made a guaranteed Inquisitor Shamal last week, right? He is probably one of the best Hydra champions in the game. But don't forget, he used to be dominating arena offense. I know a lot of people are running this champion, even double Inquisitor Shamal in arena offense, because this skill deals crazy amount of damage and just completely ignores target defense and hit 3 times. And then Faceless, kind of similar, right? A Knights Rev epic champion, Void. He just ignores shield, block damage, and defense, but he doesn't hit as hard as Inquisitor Shamal. So currently, Shamal is a much popular choice. And then the last champion on the tier list is probably someone that most people don't see. It's actually a epic from Knights Rev, Kaitis. Again, this dude hits like a truck if you have the right team setup. So like his A3 here, attack all enemy 2 times, damage increase according to the amount of HP lost. This is a secret skill and it's only usable when he is below 50% HP. So it's really a risk because he is not a Leoris, he doesn't have an unkillable himself. The only way you can use him is to pair him with a Cardinal and let the enemy one-shot your team except Cardinal, and Cardinal is gonna revive everybody at 30% HP, and then he can one-shot the enemy team easily. Alright guys, I guess that's it for the tier list. Again, this list is completely subjective. This is just my personal opinion as someone that competes in Platinum Arena. You guys might have a different opinion, that's totally fine, but like the structure should be similar. You might disagree with Leoris and Tronda, something like that, but they're definitely both top 3, okay? So yeah, I wish you guys all have a great new year, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!